Sarah Jane. I am at Savvy Sarah, that's with one V, on Twitter.com. And I really do love kale. Like, it's not a hoax. I am very passionate about it. So we have some problems in the world today, right? We've got a global economic crisis. We have health problems. There's Fox News and Sarah Palin. It's very concerning. But relax. I'm not really going to talk about those things. I mean, I am. But we're just going to talk about some kale. And I don't know how many people have eaten kale before? Yeah, all right. So a couple years ago, I had not eaten kale. I had never even heard of it. But people kept talking about it. And I thought if I learned a lot about kale, it would get me dates. Like dates from Whole Foods. They're hot. But what happened is that I had this moment where the more that I started learning about kale, the more I started getting really incredibly excited about the vegetable. And you know, kale is a vegetable, but it's this incredibly amazing vegetable that's full of rich antioxidants, and it fights cancers, and it's amazingly prolific and easy to grow. In fact, Greeks and Romans were growing kale 2,000 years ago, and I think that they were onto something. You can really grow kale. All you need is a little bit of soil, a little water, a little sunlight. You can totally neglect it, and it will grow despite yourself. Now, you may have heard of some pushes lately and seen some gardens in some interesting places. Well, you can grow food in your lawn. Your yard is dirt. I know this is an epiphany, but all you have to do is plant some seeds and you can start growing your own food. Now, for me, when I started growing food and getting interested and invested in where my food was coming from, it started to change my perspective. And what I had to do was actually look at where food was coming from and seek out new ways to eat. I wasn't just buying from the grocery store blindly anymore. And I started to make choices that I thought could have positive change. What I was putting into my body could stop using so much oil in the form of packaging, transporting things. I actually got to sit down to eat 3 times a day and think, I'm making a difference in what I put into my body. That's not even getting into the nutrients. And so as I started getting more and more interested in kale, and I start thinking about what I'm eating, and I start looking at food differently, and this is what food starts to look like for me. It's fresh, it's green, it's beautiful. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about what's coming out of the garden. I'm excited to put it into my body, and I'm excited about the good things it's going to do for me. So now, when I look at this, I don't see food. If this is food to you, this should be like a frat house dare, or you are drunk, and that is when you are eating it, and that is it. But there was a problem. Kale is not really super delicious the first time you eat it. It was so popular, I thought it was gonna be like really easy to cook and I'd just like chow it down. But I had to start looking at different avenues, and so I thought to myself, who can make gross vegetables taste really good? Well, hippies. I called up the one friend I have who doesn't shave her armpits and was like, what the hell do I do with this stuff? And she said, Sarah Jane, the secret to eating kale is if you're gonna eat it raw, you need to mix it with some lemon juice and some salt and give it a good rub down. Yeah, I'm talking about vegetables still. Before you eat it, or if you're gonna cook it, you need to give it some water and give it some time. And what happened is that I learned something new from someone completely unexpected. And I started looking at her differently, and I started talking to her differently, and I started looking at other people that I interact with differently. And it was all about food, and I started to form these relationships and get interested in what food culture is doing. And it changed how I saw food and changed what I was putting into my body by changing the environment that I was in and the people that I was connecting with. And so I just want to encourage you to think about what you eat and think about where you're getting that food from and start buying some kale. We have amazing, amazing food culture and amazing local farms here in Fort Collins. You have choices, and you can start eating like a dirty hippie too.